Am I overreacting for getting upset with how my ex speaks to my 10-year-old daughter? Let's have a look at this. Hey, what's up, baby girl? What's up? What's up? Not, hi, daddy? Wow. I was saying that because you said, what's up? Sorry. Well, you haven't called me in a long time. Want to call? Don't worry about it. Oh, okay. I want you to want to call me, Charlie. You completely disconnected with me and it's not working for me. You better figure it out, buddy. Okay, I'll call you after dinner. I have to eat now. Yeah, pretty weird. Let's just remember that she is 10 years old. You're not overreacting at all here. That is strange. I'm going to be honest, at one point with the, I want you to want to call me, Charlie, and like putting all this blame, like saying you've completely disconnected with me and it's not working on your 10-year-old daughter is crazy. Yeah, this guy has got issues. Am I overreacting by ending a friendship because his girlfriend read our conversations? Okay, interesting stuff. Hey, what's up? I know how you are. Please try not to freak out. Okay, well, you're being cryptic and that's pretty weird, so spit it out. My girlfriend and I argued after we were texting about the trip, and she said she was uncomfortable with you being there and uncomfortable with our friendship. Ooh. Interesting. Also gave OP 21 minutes to respond before sending question mark. Pretty impatient. Sorry, I'm at work, OP replied. Why would I freak out? That's a weird thing to say. Anyway, right now I'm at work and I don't really have the time or space to have this conversation. I should be home at around 7ish, or just text it, but I may not be able to answer right away. Up to you. That's disappointing. I really wanted to have this conversation and get this sorted. Then you should have texted me after 5 p.m. You know I'm at work. What do you want me to do? You know I've got intake interviews till 5. I can't text while I'm interviewing families. This conversation about your girlfriend isn't urgent. It can wait a few hours. I'm trying to talk to you about this. I don't want to be caught in the middle or have to choose between you two. Look, I understand that you're in an uncomfortable position right now, but right now, I can't give you the attention this conversation requires. I have to prepare for an intake at 3 p.m. Hang in there. We'll talk later. It's already pretty weird how needy your friend is, OP. Not sure about that. But anyway, here we go. Sorry to dump this on you. It's happening now. She thinks there's something going on between us. We argued. I told her there's nothing going on between us. We've just been friends for years. But she says she doesn't believe me. She said she wanted to see our messages, and I tried to argue and tell her you're very private, but she said that I shouldn't have anything to hide. I'd forgotten all about our conversations about your family, and she saw all of it and took screenshots of our conversations and sent them to herself. So now she doesn't trust me and she wants me to cut you off. I'm really sorry for all the pain that's yet to come, and that will weigh heavily on me. Ali, say something. You're killing me here. And then OP replied, there's really nothing to say. What a gross invasion of my privacy. Screenshots of my private conversations about my family, of the abuse I went through? Oh no. And you let it happen. You let her read through those messages. Screw the both of you. You're a spineless POS. You both, and then the message cuts off here, but it's obviously a lot longer. You both disgust me, I presume, is what happened, etc, etc, etc. But wow. Letting your girlfriend read through someone else's trauma without their permission is absolutely ridiculous, just because your girlfriend is insecure and thinks that something's going on between her boyfriend and another girl. Absolutely insane. Anyway, the guy continued, I screwed up, but can you at least try to see it from my side? You can be understanding and clear the air so everything works for everyone. That's all I want. You both mean a lot to me. She's already read everything. She knows nothing is happening between us. She's willing to talk things out and meet you. You're not... Okay, well, that's crazy. And then finally, you're not even going to try after everything we've been through? Again, sort of putting it back on OP when you're the one that screwed up. Like, you've screwed up massively. Your girlfriend's pretty mental. So now that she's read everything, seen there's nothing going on, and is actually like, oh, I've actually now read all about my boyfriend's friend's trauma. Yeah, now I want to see them and clear the air. Crazy. Again, are you overreacting? No, I'd be unbelievably angry and just feel so let down, and like my lack of trust in one of my best friends, I presume, just yeah, very prevalent. I just don't think I could trust you again. Am I overreacting? My husband changed the PIN on his phone before his hospital procedure. Oh, interesting. Okay. My husband was admitted to the hospital for health issues. He's young, but was diagnosed with heart failure. A few days ago, he had some chest pains and low blood pressure. I told him he needed to go in, and at 4 a.m. admitted. The doctor decided a procedure that would put him under was needed for answers. He had to leave his phone and belongings. His phone rang while he was out, and I missed it. So I went to check to see who called. And when trying to put in the PIN, got the error that the PIN was incorrect. I didn't expect that because the PIN has been the same for 2 years. Am I overreacting and overthinking this PIN change? It was the same PIN 2 nights ago, and now I'm worried that something is happening behind my back. Sure, I know I need to talk to him, but due to the circumstances, I'll need to wait a while until he is stable again. It's just weird, you know? Now, we've had issues with his infidelity in the past prior to marriage. I did forgive him. Please be kind. Maybe I'm just a mixture of nerves, lack of sleep, and stress. I love him, and I'm truly worried about his health. We have kids, so there is a lot going on in our life. Thank you in advance. Now, this one is really tough. Up until you said, OP, that you've had infidelity or he has had infidelity issues in the past, I was sort of on his side because I don't like the idea of knowing your partner's PIN code or like feeling the need to have access to their phone and stuff. It's just weird. I think once you start going down that road, you know, it's not good. You've got to be able to trust each other enough to not need to know each other's PIN codes or, you know, phone passwords, etc., etc. So until that point, I was like, I don't really think you should have his passcode in the first place. However, now that I see the infidelity stuff, I get it. That was probably one of the things that you talked about after him cheating in the past, saying, okay, look, I'll get back with you, but I'm going to need your phone password, etc., which makes sense to me. The fact that this has come just a day or so, or maybe even on the day of this operation, is very interesting. And I'm trying to work out other reasons as to why it may have come about in the past couple of days because of this operation. Maybe it is just a coincidence and he'd already changed it. But the fact that you checked it 2 nights ago means that it probably wasn't. I'm inclined to potentially give him the benefit of the doubt and say that, you know, he's going into this operation. He doesn't want anyone to be able to access his phone. But then I don't know why he would think that anyone would access his phone other than you, who knows his PIN. I don't know. I think, to be honest, it might just be a coincidence and something else might have happened. The thing to do is obviously have a conversation. But guys, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think is going on here? What do the people say? Someone has just said, after his procedure, you need to be on the same page about everything. Okay, my mum just died last month and literally the fact that we had her PIN was the most important thing ever. Oh, okay, right. Bills, accounts, things as simple as Netflix. Fair enough. Fair enough. That makes sense. And actually, now that I think about it, I think that my parents do know each other's PINs. They just would never go on each other's phones. It's an absolute must for married people. Yeah, okay. Maybe you should know each other's PINs, but you just don't go on their phone. Before a major surgery, I'd be making sure my spouse had my password in case anything went wrong and they needed access to my stuff. Now that is a great point that I hadn't thought of. Yes, if anything, you should get the password if you didn't have it before. Not that the password should be changed now. That actually does look very dodgy. So yeah, maybe it's less coincidence. Maybe it's the fact that he knows he's going into this operation. Anything could happen, and then you may well need to have access to his phone afterwards, and there's stuff on there that he doesn't want you to see. But then again, wouldn't you be able to see it anyway 2 days before? I'm not sure. Maybe he would think that, you know, he's fine. He's got his phone the majority of the time. There's not going to be enough time for you to go on his phone and look through it properly. But if something went wrong in this surgery, then obviously there would be, and maybe at that point you would find things out. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. As I said, let me know in the comments down below. Am I overreacting by being upset and crying after finding out my husband microwaved my breast milk? What a weird title. I went back to work this week after maternity leave, and my husband was in charge of watching our 3-month-old over the weekend. Leaving her has been incredibly emotional for me. I have never been away from her for more than a couple of hours, and going back to work has been stressful and tearful. I've spent the last 3 months building a stash of frozen breast milk that I'm immensely proud of. It's taken an insane amount of effort, collecting milk, eating well, staying hydrated, dealing with the physical toll, all to make sure she has what she needs. Before going back to work, I showed my husband exactly how to thaw the milk properly in warm water. We even practiced it together. I made it very clear that microwaving breast milk was not an option, as the CDC warns against it due to hotspots and potential nutrient loss. He agreed not to microwave it. Tonight, we were giving our daughter the last of my freshly pumped milk when I saw my husband take the bottle out of the microwave. I asked if he'd been doing that all weekend. He said yes. I immediately started crying. You can never microwave breast milk. I told you this. I felt so completely disrespected. All the time, effort and physical sacrifice I put into that milk, he had literally done the one thing I asked him not to do. Instead of acknowledging it, he got defensive. Why do you always have these crazy freaking reactions? Him calling me crazy sent me over the edge. He put the baby down and I cooled off. When he came back, his justifications were, Google said it was fine. I only did it for a few seconds and I mixed it to make sure there were no hotspots. I read a study that said it doesn't lose nutrients unless overheated, and I used a thermometer to make sure I didn't. I told him that none of that matters. I explicitly asked him not to microwave it, and he did it anyway. His arrogance that he thinks he knows better than the CDC and literally every source is angering me, that he went against my wishes, disregarded my effort, and then doubled down when I was already emotionally drained. He doesn't get why I'm upset, but I feel completely disrespected and empty after that. Am I overreacting? Absolutely not. The science, the research, what is actually best, etc., etc., it doesn't actually matter at all, because what's happened is he's gone against your wishes and your desires. And he's done it in secret as well and just thought, you know what? Yeah, I could thaw it out like my wife said, but I can't be bothered. Putting it in the microwave is just easier, so I'm going to do that. So who cares if the CDC says it's fine or not? It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. He's just gone against everything you've said, and that is really poor. I mean, look, the top comment here says exactly that. I would say this is less about the milk and more about him doing something he said he wouldn't do. You made a simple request and he explicitly went against that and didn't care. Is this something he does often? And that's the question. Because if it is, or if it's going to be, then obviously that is a major problem. And yeah, once somebody does this once, you can't help but think that it's probably going to happen again. I mean, what might happen the next time? He goes on a work retreat. You say, please promise you're not going to cheat on me. He says, I definitely won't, I promise. And then he does it anyway. Obviously, a bit of an exaggeration there, but you know, there's levels to this. He's already on that ladder now. It's not looking good. Okay, and let's leave this episode, this first Am I Overreacting episode, with this final post. Guys, before I get into this one, leave me a comment down below. What do you think about this subreddit? Have you enjoyed this episode? Do you want to see more like this? Also, what do you think of the format? I'm on screen over here. The text is over there. Crazy, I know. What do you think about seeing my face throughout the entirety of the video? Maybe for some of you it's pretty shocking and actually quite disgusting. Maybe others out there are absolutely loving it. That's up to you. You let me know down below. Am I overreacting for leaving my birthday dinner after my fiance announced a fake pregnancy? So, last night was my birthday dinner. Just a chill night with family and friends. Everything was great until my fiance stands up to give a special toast. Out of nowhere, he goes, "We're so excited to announce, we're expecting." What? I just stared at him like he's lost his mind because I'm not pregnant. He's smiling, my mum's crying, his family is clapping, and I'm just sitting there like, what? I finally ask, what are you talking about? And this man with a straight face says he's been manifesting it and it's only a matter of time. I was done. I got up, I left the restaurant. He followed me, all mad, saying I embarrassed him and should have just gone with it for the night. Now his family is blowing up my phone saying I ruined a beautiful moment. Like, what even was that? Was I really overreacting? Okay. No commentary needed on this one. Am I overreacting? My fiance spent $600 on gacha. 600 what is what I want to know. If it's something like dollars, then Jesus. Okay. Stop calling me. We need to talk right now. Pick up now. You're not being fair at all. I explain my boundaries to you, but you're not respecting them. This is exactly what somebody says is abusive about you. You spent $600 on our credit card on a freaking game. Oh my gosh, it was $600. I explained it already to you. 600 for 2 virtual characters you don't need without asking. When we are paycheck to paycheck, that card was for emergencies with the Civic. And then your fiance just sends you a Genshin Impact picture. Really good. You told me you wanted her too, but you aren't happy for me, LMFAO. Actually, I'm done. I'm a 29-year-old man. I'm allowed to make purchases without needing your permission. That is an abusive dynamic. Somebody explained that very clearly to me. Yeah, that's true, but not on a shared credit card when you're paycheck to paycheck and you haven't asked your fiance about it. Then it's slightly different. Yes, I said I wanted Farina. I didn't say we should spend hundreds to get constellations. You are a freaking addict. You already spent all our Christmas money on it. You're snooping into your finances purchase. You should take a look at yourself. Okay, maybe there's 2 sides to this. And then just an emoji with a middle finger. This is a shared card that I set up for emergencies, and you went behind my back. Why don't you tell someone else about your gambling addiction to video game characters? Actually, someone else told me all about your coercion, and I believe you're a narcissist personality. That is why you're continuing to try and control me and control my financial decision making. You know that these are my values, and I've had a Farina as my wallpaper forever. I refuse to be verbally abused for being myself. I am battling anxiety, and you do not care at all. I'm just not sure that's the time and the place to pull out that card, the anxiety card. Does having anxiety and battling it, which is a very legitimate thing, and I know a lot of people suffer with anxiety out there. Power to you, seriously. Does that mean though that you go and spend $600 on a video game character? And I also don't even know, like, what actually have you bought here? What exactly is it that's been bought? Is it like oh no, it is actually a virtual character. There we go. Unbelievable. But the point being, yeah, you can't just say, oh, I'm battling anxiety, therefore I spent $600 without asking you. Not really how that works. I do not want to get married to you, OP's fiance continues. I'm not talking on the phone. I email screenshots for my appointment tomorrow. Thank you for giving me a horrible anxiety attack and ruining my night. And no, I didn't do a freaking thing with Farina yet because of your calls. Alright, I'm going to call Capital One and dispute the charge. Your account is going to get banned, OP says. Try it. You'll lose me forever. I'm going to Scottsdale for the night. Stop calling me for 12 hours and we can talk then. Good night. Will you please answer my mum? Please? Wow. So your fiance has got his mum to then call you about this. Interesting. I apologize for my reaction. As I said, my anxiety is bad today and I have to do better. I love you. Where are we? I apologize for my reaction. As I said, my anxiety is bad today and I have to do better. I love you. You don't need to dispute the charges. I'll get you the money soon. Someone can spot me 600 tonight. So can you text him your Venmo? Anxiety really bad. Please. I'm just not sure about that. Like, it's one thing having anxiety, fair enough. It's another going $600 into debt with one of your friends because you're addicted to video games. That's crazy. So to answer the question, is OP overreacting? Obviously not. This is just ridiculous. Am I overreacting for not quitting the gym because my boyfriend told me to? Interesting. Okay, text from your boyfriend. Where are you? I'm at the gym. I'm nearly done. You're going quite often now. Babe, I've been going 3 times a week for ages now. Nothing has changed. But I prefer if you stopped going. What? That is not happening. Okay, first of all, 3 times a week to the gym is not that many times at all. I'm sorry, it's not. Like, if you're an active person and you like the gym, a lot of people go more than 3 times a week. I mean, even I go 3 times a week to the gym these days, and I am scrawny, and my main thing is not going to the gym. So I don't think that going 3 times is loads. Now, fair enough. I mean, it's a very solid amount, so don't get me wrong. But it's not as if like you're going 7 times a week every day, which also, in my opinion, would be fine. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with being active at all, and then just like not giving your boyfriend any attention or ignoring him or anything like that. But I mean, I'd still say if my partner was doing that, fair play. Get fit. Like, there's not much better you can do than go to the gym, be healthy. Anyway, but why? Are you craving attention? I give you loads of it. Well, who would I be craving attention off of? I mean, that's a very good question. Those guys you work out with? Wait, blank and blank. I was working out before they even joined in. So how did you come to that conclusion? You said you were fine with me having friends that are guys. I am. So what are you trying to say? So I want you to quit. Your stomach is flat and you've grown your glutes. What more do you want? Oh, God. Maybe like the gym isn't just about, getting to a finish point and being then happy with your body, and maybe you weren't before. Like, I've started going to the gym. I've not seen like crazy improvements in my body, but I enjoy it. Like I enjoy feeling a bit stronger. Like, if you don't know, I've always been into more sort of cardio based sport, like football, tennis, paddle. I do a lot of running, for example. You guys will probably know I've done a couple of marathons, but the gym's great, and there's no end point to the gym. You can't like complete the gym. It's something that people love doing, or they just they enjoy it. It's good for them, etc. As I've already said. Yeah. What more do you want is an interesting question. What do you think will happen if I stop going? Exactly. Like, you'll lose all the gains you've probably made. No one wants that, do they? Oh, can you just freaking quit? It's starting to really irritate me. I can stop going as often with them guys if you want. No. I just want you to fully stop. Are you overreacting? Obviously not. This is extremely strange and controlling behavior. I mean, to be fair, you've said, like, are you overreacting? You haven't really overreacted, I would say. Like, I think that you haven't really reacted at all, is the point. I think you'd be well within your rights to go a lot more on this, be a lot stronger, and be angry and be like, what are you on about? You're asking me to stop doing something which is so good for me. I do it 3 times a week, probably because you're just jealous. I don't know. Probably because you're controlling. And then I thought for a period of time it might be because she's doing it with other guys and he was just really insecure and jealous. But actually, no, it's not that. He just doesn't want you to go at all. He doesn't want you to better yourself. Maybe he doesn't go to the gym and he's like, well, my girlfriend is getting fit and looking better. Is she going to level up? I don't know. Maybe she should. It sounds like she probably should. But I would take that as an incentive to get in the gym yourself. Get fit. There are literally 0 downsides. But yeah, are you overreacting? Obviously not. Am I overreacting? My boyfriend forgot about an important event. Oh, goodness me. Didn't you forget something? OP asks. Did I? What did I forget? You really don't know? What did I forget? Never mind. And then just the question marks. Now, if you've been in this position before, you will know, like, the anxiety, the sort of the panic. You're like, oh my goodness me, have I genuinely forgot something here that it's just passed me by? It's the worst thing in the world when, like, your SO is like, all right, today's the day. Ready? And you're like, yeah, what for again? But on this occasion, it's St. Patrick's and you haven't asked me to be your Patrick. So rude. Very good. Very good. I actually hate you. Mean. That is so good. That's the sort of like relationship you want. Good chat right there. You can tell this guy was panicking. He was like, he was checking his calendar. He was checking his emails. He was checking texts, everything. He was like, what could I possibly have forgotten? And yeah, you got to ask your girlfriend to be your Patrick, man. Come on. Am I overreacting for saying okay? Well, this is an interesting one because this is about dating and like first dates and stuff. And I'm actually like, I'm dating at the moment, guys. I don't know how much I should say, but I mean, like, I've been on a few dates, let's just say, over the past few months. So this is interesting. And dating etiquette, especially like when you don't like someone, or how you sort of let someone down gently and vice versa, obviously, is an interesting topic, especially with like online dating where you don't know the person beforehand. So here we go. This person has said, hey, so I had a lovely time with you, but I don't think you're really my type. You're really outgoing and charismatic, but I just didn't feel a spark. That's a nice message. I think like the messages that you send after a date and you're just not quite sure like how to put it, you might just not be attracted to them. You might think something's missing, whatever it is. Just say something polite like that, like a nice compliment as well. It doesn't really matter. You're probably not going to see them again if it's like an online date. So absolutely fine. OP replies, all right, take care, which is a very reasonable reply, I would say. What would I say if someone said that to me and I liked them or I didn't like them? I'd probably say, no worries, all good. Like genuinely, I wouldn't say, I would say along the lines of, all right, take care, but in my verbiage, I suppose, what I would usually say. But this person then says, that's it? No comment on how I was? Does it matter? You don't sound interested in taking this further. Yeah, but I put in some solid effort on this date, and I acknowledged how you were as a person. What a huge red flag this is. Oh my goodness. So you want me to acknowledge that you were engaged in conversation? Well, thank you for being a nice date. Not when you put it like that. Honestly, that's just rude. I made time to have this date happen, and you're making it sound like you didn't have a good time. What? I also left work an hour early to get ready for the date. I don't understand. I was going to say I had a nice time, but you said how you're not interested, so I just didn't see the point. Exactly. Like, you know, normally I'd be the one to message first after a date and say, like, if I had a nice time, I wanted to see them again, and I would say, had a really nice time, I'd like to see you again, be free next week, whatever. But if they already message and say, I had a lovely time with you, but I don't think you're really my type or whatever, I'll just say, all right, no worries. Go again, on to the next. I wouldn't say, oh, that's a shame. I really thought you were really charismatic and cute and really actually quite sexy as well. But that's, I can't even speak because I'm like, what actually would you say? Apart from, yeah, no worries, all good. Let's see what happens next. Very interesting. It's just the tone of your message. I still said how I had a nice time, and you didn't reciprocate appropriately. Why does it matter when you're not going to see them again anyway? Okay, firstly, I did say take care, and like, why does it matter when ultimately you're not interested? Exactly, you're the one that's not interested. You're not getting the point. It's like you know now, and you're a completely different person. A good riddance on my part. Maybe this is how you are in real life, and you faked your personality for the date. Why are you quiet now? This person has said this 1 minute, actually less than a minute after sending that message. Yeah. Are you overreacting? No, absolutely not, because you haven't really reacted once again. Secondly, if anyone's had a good riddance on anyone's part, it's UOP, not this weird individual. Am I overreacting? Text my boyfriend sent someone. Now, I normally do not go through my boyfriend's phone, but him and I have our Gmails linked. Earlier today, I got an email notification that said he had an unopened message from someone with a suggestive username. These texts were from last month, but we've been together since November 2023. He also tells me he doesn't want me to pierce my face, like the girl in chat has done. Also, when I first confronted him about it, he didn't say anything, so I went to the bedroom. I texted him, as shown, and he left me on read. I personally wouldn't consider this cheating, but it makes me feel really weird. Definitely something that I think I need to talk to him about. Am I overreacting? Okay, let's have a look at the screenshot here. So, this is from your boyfriend's phone, and he has said to the girl, I love your piercings. Thank you, they replied. Interestingly, he is saying to another girl, I love your piercings, when he's asked you not to get any, right? He doesn't like piercings, but he does. He doesn't want you to pierce your face, but he likes piercings on this girl's face. Well, that is just objectively odd. And then, yeah, you're weird. Nothing to say at all. Left on red. I don't know. Like, you could say that giving a compliment is completely fine. And, like, complimenting another girl, whatever, it's not the end of the world, is it? Like, maybe you'd be overreacting if it was just that. But the way he's acted around it, and the fact that he doesn't like piercings on you, or specifically has asked you not to get a piercing, but then complimented this girl's piercing, yes, that makes it weird, and you're not overreacting, I don't think. And to be honest, I don't think anyone in this series so far has overreacted, which is a little bit concerning, because so far, the subreddit r/AmIOverreacting has a 100% no success rate, I suppose. Maybe next time, if you guys enjoyed this one, I'll find some people that actually were overreacting. I'll find a group of posts where the person was definitely overreacting and we can laugh at them. Am I overreacting? This is my response to my mum disowning me because I'm gay. Sorry for all the texts, but this was from earlier today and I'm honestly mentally destroyed. I'm used to her diatribes and lectures about me changing my ways to become less of a sinner, but I was born like this. Why can't she understand that? This all came to a head recently when I told her that I won't be going to a conversion camp. There's nothing to fix. This is me. She became hysterical, which isn't a new thing. She locked me in my room for a day, and eventually I was able to get out and get my phone. I texted this to try and resolve things, but I feel like I made it worse. I am so screwed. I'll be kicked out on Thursday, and I'm terrified. let's get into these texts. Okay, so OP texts his mum. Can we talk about earlier? I just feel like you're not actually listening. And I know Sarah tried to explain it to you because I think maybe you think I'm being rude, but I swear I didn't mean it like that. I do want you in my life and I want your insight, but when you tell me that me being gay is a choice basically every day, it begins to really destroy my psyche. I hope you understand. I'm saying this from love. I hope you understand that it is a choice and you've made this choice, so you have to lie in the bed. On Thursday, you're out. You're kicking me out on my 18th birthday. Are you serious? Why don't we just talk? The time for talking is over, Edgar. I don't want to hear anymore. You don't listen. I gave you options, places you can go to become normal again. You don't talk to me. You don't listen. You ignored what father said. He suggested 3 places and camps. I will pay. Yeah, like you paying is gonna make your son want to go to conversion camp. Oh my goodness. That is so effed up. You think a conversion camp is gonna change how I was born? You're my mum. Why don't you freaking love me? I do love you, but I hate how the devil has taken root in you, and I won't be witness to it anymore. I have to worry about my soul, and I cannot risk it any further. So, you are out on Thursday. And where do I go? You never let me get a job. How do I survive? Do you even care? Army, toughen up. Do what your cousin did. Beg. It's time for reality and to live with the consequences of your actions. Pray every day. Pray is spelled wrong, by the way. Just want to put that out there. Maybe you'll be fixed and this will be good again. Until then, and I say this with love, I hope you truly suffer and experience hardships. It will make you realize how your actions and not listening to me have led you astray from God. And do not talk to your sister anymore. She has a chance still. If I see a message from my monitoring app, you will have a real problem. Deja a esa niña pura en paz. No intentes corromperla. Jeez. Some harsh words there. Some really harsh words. Leave this girl in peace. Don't try to corrupt her. Am I overreacting? I paid $45 for a cake that's not even the right color. So I wanted to get my best friend a nice birthday cake. I normally make my friends and family cakes myself, as in the past I haven't really had money to get one made professionally. So this year I found a bakery in town that has good reviews and I checked out their Facebook profile. Most of their stuff looked really nice, so I felt like I was making a safe choice going with them. I said I wasn't picky about the color, just not a bluish green. I even gave some examples of the color I was looking for. I got the cake today and it's borderline teal. I didn't say anything in the store because I was nervous and thought maybe it was bad lighting. Also, I really just didn't want to be one of those people. But now I'm home and looking at it and I want to cry because I paid $45 for this and I can't even think of how to fix it. My other friends say I should try to get a refund, but I feel like I should have done that earlier before paying for the cake. I'm so frustrated, but I don't know if it's bad enough to warrant making a fuss about it. Originally, the cake was supposed to have the gold accents, but she told me it would be $25 extra. So I was like, that's fine, just use a lighter shade of the same green. But it's not even the same shade. Okay, so here we go. Here are the texts from OP to the store, the cake store, I suppose. All right, so she's saying what she sort of wants here. This rough green color. I'm not super worried about the color being spot on, as long as it's a deeper earthy or sage green. Just avoid a green that's too blue. Okay, and obviously teal is, yeah, relatively blue. They say, got it. What day do you want to pick it up? And here is the cake itself. First of all, I'm going to be honest, it doesn't look great anyway. Like it actually looks terrible. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know. I feel like this design, whatever this is genuinely awful. I mean, the stars look nice. This is terrible. The handwriting. Now, I know, like, cake shops, they're so good at doing that same handwriting. They're very talented people normally, right? This just doesn't look great. I mean, the E's are almost bordering on eyes. And the main point is, that isn't green. That isn't like a deep earthy green, right? That is a teal. So, yeah, just not what you asked for at all. And I think, actually, yeah, this picture shows it. Okay, to be fair, it looks better from this angle. But, again, if you were to say, is that green or blue? I genuinely lean towards blue. It looks like sort of ocean blue, which is obviously
greeny, but I mean, that is not like an earthy or deeper green. I think you're well within your rights to get a refund, and I agree with your friends. I mean, people in the comments are saying, it's for sure blue-green. I'd be annoyed. She could have also dotted the dang I in 19. Yeah, I know. Like, look at this. That 19 is shocking. Sorry, the top of that is awful. I'd get a refund on that, even if the cake was dark green or like earthy green. That just looks so B-Tech. No offense, but it does. I don't think you're overreacting. You've paid good money for a product that you haven't really received. I'd get a refund. Am I overreacting at my son, who is a 15-year-old, for grossing out my daughter, who is 11, on purpose? Immediately, I'm going to say, reading this title, potentially. It's just a sort of thing that siblings do, especially a boy to a younger sister. I mean, I say that as someone with a younger sister. We'll see what happens. But my initial answer here is potentially you are overreacting, but we'll see just what grossing out means. Our son has recently been doing gross stuff to our daughter to get a rise out of her, and she really hates it. It started when she gagged when someone passed gas in a small room, and he thought it was funny. And now he's periodically tried to fart in her face, hold the doggy bag up to her nose when walking the dog, and huffed in her face in the morning without brushing his teeth, causing her to gag a lot. Now, at the age of 15, I'm just not quite sure about this. Like, 15 is not young. I know he's like a silly little teenager, but still, surely you've like grown up a little bit. Anyway, he thinks it's funny, but she really hates it and wants him to stop. He knows this, and I've told him this after the first 2 incidents, but he still did it again. He says, I'm not hurting her, it's just a smell, it's funny, and she needs to get over it. In response, I told him, next time this happens, I'm going to make you smell something you won't be able to handle, and you're not going to get to stop smelling it just because you hate it or it makes you feel queasy. He asked, what could you make me smell that's so bad? And I said, you don't want to find out. You don't give her any warning when you do these things, so you aren't receiving one either. I'm a vet tech though, and have more than adequate means to follow through on this. I've got to say, this is great parenting in my opinion. Giving your son a taste of his own medicine, I think, is the perfect way to get him to understand the effect he's having. Really good stuff. Anyway, he sort of rolled his eyes and said, whatever, but it did make him stop for a while. Until yesterday morning, when he burped in her face again and laughed about it. I simply told him, all right, I'll be carrying out the punishment we'd discussed. I let my daughter take a mini vacation with my husband to get away from him in the meantime, to a local hotel and water park, while I prepare to administer his punishment. Just need a couple more dogs at work who need expressions. I'm not even quite sure what that means, but it's in air quotes. So yeah, we'll see. After talking with others about it though, I just wonder if it's too harsh a punishment. My husband fully supports it, and so do 3 of my co-workers, but 2 of them say it's too harsh and that a smell this bad is way disproportionate to burps and farts. I said that everyone has a different tolerance to these things. If he repeatedly violates his sisters, he needs to realize what it's like to be on the flip side. I agree. I told my husband I was having second thoughts, and I wondered if it was too harsh of a punishment, but he said it's not undeserved, and you have to follow through on your promise. So am I overreacting? As I said during this, I don't think you are at all. I actually think it's bordering on phenomenal parenting for all the reasons I said. Maybe this is what it is, because I don't really know what expressions means. I've never had a dog, so I don't really know. I'm not going to read that out loud, but that sounds awful. And also the thing is, you know, your son OP has used dog poo in the past with his sister, so it has to be a worse smell than that. But goodness me, let's see what the rest of the comments are saying. Does anyone know exactly what it is? I mean, I'm inclined to believe it probably is what that person said, but yeah, okay, he deserves some punishment. Wow. I mean, guys, get in the comments down below if you've ever smelt that before. How bad is it? Rate it from 1 to 10. I can't wait to read the comments. Am I overreacting? Girl sent suggestive messages. I unfriended. Okay, interesting. For context, this is the 3rd convo I'd literally ever had with her. She sent me multiple friend requests over the past like year and a half, to the point that I thought I must know her, and I just forgot meeting her. I met people all the time through my old job, so sometimes I know someone without realizing it right away. I asked my friends and family if they recognized her, and everyone said no, But at this point, I had gaslit myself into believing that I must know her somehow. First convo, she tells me how pretty I am, and we chat about general things. I ask how we know each other, and she replies with, well, I'm not actually sure we do, but I feel like we must have met, which is weird, but whatever. Second convo, she talks about how co-workers are always flirting with her because of her chest. I commiserate because I've also got tig old biddies. This is the third convo. I unfriended her as soon as she sent that stuff. I always had a weird feeling, and this confirmed that for me. But it's kind of subtle, so I'm just looking for confirmation that I'm not overreacting. Hey, what's up? Just got home. What about you? Watching the kids and reading. Haha. Sounds like a blast, lol. I like it, lol. Well, what are you reading? Now, the interesting thing here is that you are having a conversation with somebody who it seems like you're actually good friends with. It's a bit strange. Like if someone that I wasn't sure if I knew or not messaged me saying like, hey, and like, what you doing? I don't think I'd answer. I'd be like, I don't know you. Even though you think you know them. If you weren't sure, I'd be like, well, just not entertaining this conversation. Anyway, what are you reading? I'm reading Bad Dreams in the Night by Adam Ellis. I don't usually read graphic novels, but this one is really good and I love Adam Ellis. Plus, my fiance got it for me as a gift. How was your day? Again, I don't really know why you're asking these questions, but whatever. Freaking busy, man. Oof, that's always stressful. It really is, for sure. I'm so tired too. Well, you should get some rest. This is such a boring combo as well. No offense, OP, if you're watching, but I'm actually yawning. I should, but there's some stuff on my mind. Do you want to talk about it? Again, not quite sure why you're asking that, but fair enough. I mean, it's not bad stuff. Oh, like exciting? In a way. I don't want to run you off if I say it though. Well, I'm in a sexual mood, lol. Alright, well, have fun with that, I guess. I'm sorry. Sure, well, I'm gonna go ahead and unfriend you though. I'm pretty sure we're not compatible as friends. Oh, okay, I apologize if I did something wrong. I feel like you're definitely aware of what you did, especially considering I literally just mentioned my fiance. Just super disrespectful. I appreciate the apology, but I doubt its sincerity. Oh no, I wasn't intending anything like that, and I wasn't trying to be disrespectful at all. I can promise you, I wasn't going to ask for stuff or go into detail about what I was going to do. I was just saying the mood I was in. Like, I'm not really like that, but like, I really do apologize. Honestly, I don't buy it. Best of luck to you in your endeavors, though. Well, that might go down as one of the weirdest set of text messages I've ever read. I think you're both weird. Sorry. Maybe OP is just being nice, but again, if you don't know someone, why are you having this conversation? I'm just reading a book. Is that normal? Maybe I'm the weird one. A random person that you don't know if you know messages you on Facebook and you start chatting to them. I'm pretty sure I was told in school not to do that. But yeah, let me know in the comments. Is that weird or not? I mean, there's no doubt about the fact that the person messaging you is obviously very strange. But I'm starting to think that OP is a bit weird as well for entertaining it in the first place. People in the comments are saying you're not overreacting, which I agree with. You don't even know this person. You owe them absolutely nothing. You dealt with the situation well. Yeah, you dealt with the situation well, but only when it arose. Like, you could have stopped this happening in the first place by just not having this conversation. But I don't know. No one actually seems to say that OP's done anything weird. Yeah, maybe I'm just making it up. But yeah, OP says she is a woman. We gain that. Why is no one else saying, like, no one is saying that OP was weird at all. So maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, you guys let me know in the comments down below. Am I overreacting for thinking this is a normal group photo pose? I am a 23-year-old man, and I went to a meet and greet to see some members of a YouTube channel called Donut Media. I went to this meet and greet alone, even though I did invite my SO, who is a 24-year-old woman who was busy during the event, but she said it was okay to go on without her. She asked how the event went, and I sent her this photo, not really thinking much of it. Like, I had about 30 seconds to take a photo and get some signatures on a poster, so with that limited time, I didn't really pre-plan ahead how I was going to pose. I'm naturally a kind of awkward person, and so I defaulted to just having my arm around everyone's shoulder. Anyways, my SO ghosted me out of anger and sadness, and said that I was basically crossing the line by putting my arm around the lady to the left of me. I am wearing the blue shirt and the pose they were in, leaning towards me. I managed to discuss it with her after her ghosting stopped, and she expressed that if the roles were reversed, I'd also be upset. But in reality, I'd be happy for her if she got to meet someone that she supports. I don't have any attractions towards anyone, and I don't have anything to hide. It's not like I put my arm around their waist or anything like that. My left arm is blocked by another arm going across everyone's shoulder. Ask away if you have questions, but am I overreacting by saying this is normal and defending myself, or am I in the wrong for this? Now's the moment you've all been waiting for. Here is the photo. Oh my goodness me. You know what? I see where your SO is coming from. That right there is disgusting. Having your arm around another woman in a very platonic way, posing for a photo. I would never allow it. What is your SO talking about? That's like the most normal photo I've ever seen. And she's not even leaning towards you. If anything, she's leaning forward. I don't know. Crazy how insecure some people are. But I feel like that gives you some good information about who your SO really is. That's pretty controlling, or she's just jealous and, as I said, incredibly insecure. But wow, is this not the most normal photo I've ever seen? Yes. Am I overreacting if I left my boyfriend for this? On Sunday, I, an 18-year-old woman, legal age to drink where I live, went clubbing. And this conversation happened Monday morning. You went clubbing on a Sunday? Well, that is interesting. I wonder what country that is in. Get me there, is what I will say. Now, we haven't spoken since because he, 22-year-old man, wants me to think about what he is mad about. And I just want to break up with him at this point. But I feel like maybe I was being disrespectful towards him, and I'm just at a loss. So, can anyone help me out and tell me if I'd be overreacting if I broke up with him? I included the outfit I wore in the picture, just not on me because no thanks. Okay, I already see where this is going to be going, but yes. Are you awake? Yes. Hi. How was last night? I have so much to tell you. Are you free to call? No. I don't need details. I gathered enough from what you wore. What's that supposed to mean? Question mark. Name, what the F? Is that outfit you posted on your story the one you went out in? Yes. Why? Jesus Christ, it was barely covering you. You look like a whore, to say the least. Why are you speaking to me that way? Because right now, I'm ashamed to be your boyfriend. My girlfriend isn't going to dress like a slag. You're supposed to be representing me. Oh, somehow that last text is the worst of all the ones we've just read. And the bar was pretty high. I'm not representing nobody. I'm my own person. How many men did you let touch up on you? Laughing, crying emoji. You looked like a prawn star. I'm actually fit to rip the hairs out of my head. I'm so angry at you. Goodness me. I'm not talking to you when you're speaking to me like this. No, neither would I. And ladies and gentlemen, here is the outfit. To be honest, yeah, it's a nice outfit. Gonna be honest, I've been to quite a lot of nights out and sort of festivals in my life. Very, very standard outfit. I've seen girls wear a lot worse. Completely fine. Pretty cool outfit, to be fair. I mean, I'd back it. Oh, now that is where I draw the line. Things just got a little bit serious because you're looking at this and you think, okay, some boots. No, that is my issue right there. Bare knee. I would never let my woman show bare knee to another man in public ever. And for that, I think you are no longer in the right. Your boyfriend was right all along. Good for him. I think this comment down below actually sums up what is going on. Honestly, you didn't have to show us the outfit. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. If you had a sweatshirt on, if you had like a trench coat on or a bikini, he responded terribly. I have a rule for myself to not date anyone who wants to comment negatively on what I wear. It's always insecurity or control or both. If you're okay with being with someone like that or working that out with communication or compromise, that's valid. But he spoke so lowly of you. He tore you apart and made accusations purposely to put you down. It's the way he responded that sounds like he didn't want a conversation. He just wanted to make you feel small. I personally feel like we couldn't trust or communicate with each other in the future. Boom. Roasted. Well, no, not roasted at all. Just accurate information. Boom. Accurate information. You're not overreacting. I would also break up with him. Partly because I'm not gay, but secondly, because of what he's just said. Am I overreacting to think that this is cheating? I found these texts between my husband and his co-worker. Here is some context. My husband and I have been dating for 5 years and just recently got married 6 months ago. I've met this co-worker. Her and her boyfriend worked at my husband's company, so we went on a double date over the holidays. But shortly after they broke up and her boyfriend got laid off. I guess my husband saw this as his opportunity. Also, these texts were in his recently deleted, even though the last message was from yesterday, so he was definitely trying to hide it from me. I mean, there we go. The fact that that is the case, I don't even need to read these messages, and I think I know what the probable, outcome is going to be. Why would you delete messages that quickly if they were platonic and fine? I mean, you just wouldn't, unless you were hiding something. But don't worry, everyone. We're gonna have a look at the messages. Okay, so she said to him, arriving back here, but you're welcome. I'm sorry I couldn't give them to you again. He then says, I've never seen anyone look so freaking pretty while having a mental breakdown. Lol. Love it. Lol. Not your fault. Flirty is what I will say. Don't mention it. I heard you crying and was completely confused. Like, did I break her camera? Lol, but seriously, office cute. Don't tell HR I said that. Interesting. No, it's okay, she replied. It's totally not your fault. I think management is just on a power trip, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. Okay, pretty standard messages from her. You know how to work our angles. Lamau, good. I always thought you were cool as anything. Heads up, if I start having a bad day, I'm going to need a selfie for motivation. Asking for pics, pretty normal. I'll try, but no promises. Selfies are a rare and hot commodity. Got to put that degree to use somehow. My chakras were all kind of crossed. But I appreciate the kind words. You're so sweet. What a load of shit. Yeah, I mean, for me, this is cheating. Now, I have a pretty low bar for what I count as cheating. Some people think that it's only cheating when it's physical. And obviously, nothing physical's happened here. But I actually arguably think that emotional cheating is worse. I mean, it's not really though, is it? But I don't know. So in some ways, it is. And this is definitely emotional cheating. Like saying that another office worker looks good over text messages of the opposite sex and then saying, yeah, I'm gonna need a selfie for motivation because you look good. It is cheating. I don't think you're overreacting at all. What was the question? It's not cheating. It's not. You're right. And I guess with that information, you do what you want. I mean, the fact that your husband deletes the messages is, as I said in the intro, that's more than enough information. Am I overreacting? My partner doesn't text me back in a timely manner. Interesting. Me and my partner have been together for 1 year and 3 months now, and I always get into arguments with them about not texting me within a timely manner, like within 3 hours. However, they don't seem to see it as a problem because they think it's normal. But what I'm having trouble understanding and accepting is how are they so busy to where they can't text me within 3 hours? Or even just tell me they probably won't be able to text me back. I would be fine with them just telling me straight up and stuff. I have an anxious attachment style, and I always get angry when they keep doing it. They say it's a habit, and it's starting to make me more angry because why is that habit destroying our relationship? By the way, we're in a long distance relationship, but we've met in person before. For example, they went to the gym recently and they hired a personal trainer, which was new. Then they left me undelivered for 6 hours. I was angry because they could have at least told me that they got there or that they were done, but they just fell asleep after. I was worried, but I was just sort of prosecuting them for leaving me undelivered for 6 whole hours. It's getting so frustrating, and it's making me stressed when they say I'm a military partner for just asking for stable communication. I'm just so stuck on what to do because this is literally our only line of connection. The picture shows 2 things, the timestamps and the desperation. We did call at around 1:10 p.m. and then they called me at 11 p.m, approximately their time, EST. I'm MST. I'm just getting frustrated because is this normal? Their friends say I'm overreacting and that I'm the one that's in the wrong, but I just believe that what I'm asking for shouldn't be that much. The friends part made me really mad because it makes me feel like I'm overreacting when they don't know the trauma I've been through as a child. I just need advice or insight from anyone, please. Thank you. Okay, here are the texts. Monday, 10:17 a.m. Morning. Then at 1:02 p.m, I'm awake now. Then at 5:28 p.m, are you alright? And at 7:53 p.m, I give up. Now, I feel like this, without the context of the calls, would be a little bit concerning because, look, someone's allowed to be not to be on their phone for a whole day. That's completely fine. But you'd want like at least one message a day. I think the important thing here is that this is a long-term, long-distance relationship. So there is no face-to-face. Like there is no, I don't need to text them. I'll be back after work and see them, whatever. So this is the only line of communication. So if there was no phone call, I'd say, yeah, that is a little bit concerning. I think the main thing is you guys need to just work on your communication as well and come to a middle ground and yeah, work out what may work for both of you. If you have an anxious attachment style, then I feel like if you know that they're not going to call you, they're not going to message you throughout the day, and then they'll just call you at one point, or you have like a time each day where you call, or every other day or something, then that'll be all right. But this, with the context of the phone calls that were at 1:10 p.m, right, and then at 11 p.m, so twice in a day, I think that's too much, my friend. So morning, you've not got a text until they then call you after this message, which is fine. Like you've had a phone call, you've had your contact. Then you get another phone call in the evening. I mean, that is more than enough, isn't it? Like, you probably just have different communication styles, and I think they've said they don't want to text as much, and you clearly do. Maybe, like, it sounds weird because, you know, 20 years ago this wasn't a thing, but I think your texting style and your sort of online presence and how you use your phone can potentially be quite important for any particular couple, any particular relationship. Because if one of you is like, no, I want to text all the time, all day, which is fine if you both want to do it. If the other one's like, no, I don't want to be on my phone, I don't see the point in messaging all that much because there's not too much to gain from a text conversation, then that might not marry up and it might not work out for you guys. I think in this situation though, you OP are actually overreacting a little bit, and you've got to sort of let her breathe because she's called you twice and you're still making this post. I think like 2 calls in a day is more than enough. Let's see what people are saying. I think you are overreacting here. They called you twice that day. Yes. Clearly texting is not your only line of connection. Fair enough. It sounds like you're asking your partner to tell you every move of their day, given your examples of wanting to know they got to the gym and when they left. Yeah, that would really annoy me. Like, maybe I'd say, yeah, I'm going to the gym. But like, if my partner messaged me saying, oh, did you make it back from the gym okay? I'd just be like, yeah, obviously. Obviously, I made it back from the gym. Like, how was the gym session? Yeah, it was good. I don't care for that sort of conversation over text. It's just not like, it's not important, is it? It's just, I don't think I'm gaining anything by doing that. Maybe it's nice to some people. I don't know. It's not stable communication just because you're hearing from them constantly. I agree with that. It's also overbearing. That's the main point. And I'm saying that as a woman who also has/had an anxious attachment style, but has worked through my insecurity through therapy. I mean, one of your texts is literally, I'm awake now. Yeah, how do you respond to that? You say, oh, well done for waking up? Like, it's not a conversation, a text conversation that is going to give you anything, really. I don't think so. What is the point? Like, if you're at work and your partner messages you saying, I'm awake now, and you're mid-work, mid-meeting or something, I'm sorry, but it's not a priority to respond to that. I don't think anyway. I get the anxious attachment style, but have you ever considered that a long-distance relationship isn't right for you? That's a very good point. You can't expect them to cater entirely to your needs while also ignoring theirs. You guys are arguing about this because you're pushing what you want without listening to what they can offer. You're not being fair. Again, they called you twice that day. You've got to learn how to let them live their life while you live yours. What you're doing is not healthy. Great comment. I agree with all of that. What do you think of the comments down below? Because I know that people differ on this. I've actually changed personally how I am on text. Like, I used to be a very active texter. And now on WhatsApp, for example, I've turned off my last scene, I've turned off my read receipts, and I feel much better for it. Because I used to get a little bit of that anxiety when you're waiting to hear back from somebody and maybe they've left you unread, or maybe you've seen that they've been online but they haven't replied to your message. It's very unhealthy, I think. I know a lot of people out there are like that, but I will say that since turning that off on WhatsApp, my life has got better. So if you're considering that, or you spend too much time thinking about what other people are doing on their phone, or if they've messaged you or not messaged you, etc., I would recommend turning off read receipts and last seen. Am I overreacting for reporting my UPS driver who stole from me? Okay, my UPS driver has been a big problem from the start. He would leave the sorry we missed you notes without ever knocking. Oh my goodness. That is the most annoying thing ever, by the way. I cannot tell you how annoying that. I mean, you guys will all know this, but when you're waiting for a delivery, right, and you've got like it's coming from this time to this time, and you're doing nothing because you're like, I cannot miss this delivery. And then all of a sudden you get a notification or an email saying, sorry, we missed you. And you're like, well, I've been sat by the door. You haven't missed me because I'm right here, bitch. It's very annoying. Anyway, the third time I caught him in the act. I told him, it takes me nearly an hour to get the package from his office and that I work from home. I have him on no less than 4 cameras just fake delivering packages. Now, despite sounding like a Karen, I think I'm nice and I put a snack or drink station out for all delivery drivers. The fact that you've said that you think you're nice makes you instantly not a Karen, by the way, because you are therefore self-aware. Karens are not. Let's have a look at this picture. What's this then? Wow, that is unbelievable. You leave that out for delivery drivers. That is insane. I want to be a delivery driver in your area. That is phenomenally generous. Fair play. That is actually a lovely thing to do. You're definitely not a Karen. I don't mind people taking what they want at all. Most people say thank you into the doorbell camera. Some even say, sorry I took so much. I forgot my lunch and you saved me. That doesn't bug me at all. In fact, I love it. It can be rough, and being on the road and being without food sucks. Well, this UPS driver finally showed up and takes $10 to $15 worth of stuff. Well, screw it. It's technically free. He doesn't even say thank you or anything. He's well aware I'll see the video. At least he left me my package this time. But it gets so much worse. Today he had no deliveries on my entire block, but he drove out of his way to my house, walked up and took 2 energy drinks, multiple protein bars, beef jerky, liquid IV, fruit snacks, panda chocolate things. I mean, some or multiple of everything. He didn't even have a package for me. Am I overreacting for being absolutely livid about this? Would I be terrible if I reported him? I never actually reported him before for the fake deliveries, and we have the video. Phenomenal scenes. Here he comes. He's not got a package at all. He knows you have cameras, right? And he just goes straight up to your thing. What's he going to take? So that's 2 things he's taken already. I mean, the fact that you have this is unbelievable, by the way. 3 things. A drink. Another drink? Wow. So he's taken 5 things there. 6? Oh my goodness me. He's taken 6 things. I mean, taking 6 things is ridiculous. That really is a lot. He's taking liberties here. He really is. Which is a shame because it's such a nice thing that you're doing. But he's probably just got used to doing this. And like, just part of his like daily routine now. I don't know. That is crazy. The fact that he's not even got a delivery for you and he's still done that. Mental. Yeah, people are saying, you're not overreacting. He's definitely taking advantage. He is the reason people stop doing nice things for others. Good for you for standing up for yourself. Exactly. OP says, thank you. The comments are weird so far. I go out of my way to try and be nice, and this cost me not a small chunk of change per month. So to be treated like I'm the villain is a bit odd. Dude showed up to my house with no package, knowing we don't get along, and took $15 in stuff. That sounds insane and against company policy to me. And maybe the comments were saying, actually, no, like, you leave it out. It's his right to take it. I don't know. I wouldn't agree with that myself. I feel like he knows exactly what he's doing. And yeah, it's that sort of like you have that. Well, I would think, at least, I would hope that, you know, you'd have that sort of, yeah, unspoken rule with drivers that say, I'm helping you out here, you know, deliver my stuff. And then I know it's a tough job. So, you know, have some stuff for free. I mean, that's a very nice thing to do. But this guy, despite the fact that I think he knows that, is just doing what he wants. I would report him. I would also have a word with him. I think I'd probably have a word with him first, though, I'm going to be honest. I feel like I would, if I saw him out and about, I would just want to like just wait for him and be like, as soon as you get that notification on your Ring app or whatever, go outside and say, hey bro, what are you doing? And you'd probably catch him with about 75 drinks, 14 protein bars, and 75 packets of crisps. And he'd be like, oh, sorry, I thought these were free. I don't know. I'd want to actually like speak to him first. But then, you know, if you're not getting anything there, yeah, report him. I mean, ultimately, he isn't doing his job properly. either. So you can just report him for that. I don't really think he's stealing because you have just left stuff out there for free and it is for delivery drivers and he is one. So I don't think you could get him for that. But no doubt about it, if he's not doing his job properly and you have evidence of that, yeah, you can report him. I can't believe you're even considering this beastly idea. What's next? You're going to pierce your whole face? You want to completely change who you are and look like some rebellious teenager? I'm seriously losing it over this. I don't care what everyone else says. This is just ridiculous, and I won't let it happen. I won't just sit here and watch you do something so stupid to yourself for no reason other than a dumb idea. Every time you come up with one of these things, I feel like I don't even know you anymore. Why can't you just leave things alone? Do not go through with this. If you really want to do it, then watch. Frickin' hell, that was a bit deranged. It's only a piercing. Am I overreacting, or is the message my boyfriend sent me a bit over the top? Wow. I was thinking about getting my tongue re-pierced, as I had it done when I was 14 to 16, and now I'm 18 and I want it done again. I was on a phone call with my boyfriend, who's 21, and at the end of the call, I told him I was going into the piercing place just to make sure I still had the right anatomy. This isn't the first time I told him I wanted it done again, and then once I hung up, he sent me that paragraph 20 minutes later. I find it a bit insane and over the top, and he's overreacting, but maybe actually I am, and he's right in a sense. I honestly don't know. I just want opinions on this. Well, let me tell you, that's absolutely insane. All of that for a tongue piercing. A beastly idea. Wow. Am I overreacting? I won't hire someone with 1488 tattoo. Oh, goodness me. For those of you that don't know, 1488 is a combination of numeric symbols, sort of famous within white supremacy groups. I'm building a house and I live in a very rural part of the South. I'm trying to hire contractors to do some work, and one of the workers with the company has a 1488 tattoo on his neck. I don't want to hire racists. I'm cancelling my contract with the company. I would do exactly the same thing. I don't care how good they are. If you're racist, I'm not giving you any money. Simple as that. Okay, a bit of a longer one now. Am I overreacting for threatening to take my sister to court after her toddler destroyed my $2,000 gaming setup because she said I should have baby-proofed my apartments? Hi Reddit. I am a 25-year-old woman and I'm honestly at my breaking point with this one. I need outside perspective because my entire family is acting like I'm Hitler for standing my ground. Not linked to the previous post, but a very funny coincidence. So, I am a student software developer and a pretty serious PC gamer in my free time. I live alone in a one-bedroom apartment that I've spent years making cozy and functional. I saved up for a long time to build my dream PC setup. Triple monitors, custom mechanical keyboard, ergonomic chair, the works. Altogether, my rig is worth a bit over $2,000, and I take care of it like it's a dang child's. Last weekend, my older sister, who is 30, asked if she could crash at my place for one night because her apartment was being fumigated and her husband was out of town. She has a 3-year-old son, Max, who's, let's say, spirited. I love him, but he's a little chaos goblin. I hesitated, but she swore she'd keep an eye on him and that it would just be for one night. They show up on Saturday afternoon, and immediately it's clear she wasn't kidding about Max being a handful. Within 10 minutes of arriving, he'd pulled 4 books off my shelf, thrown my houseplants on the floor, and spilled juice on my area rug. I tried to stay chill. He's 3. I get it. But I asked my sister politely to please keep him out of my office where my PC setup is. She rolls her eyes and goes, "He's just exploring. He's curious. It's normal." But she closes the office door anyway. Cut to Sunday morning. I wake up to screaming. Max had apparently woken up before his mum, managed to open the office door, and decided that my setup was his new jungle gym. He pulled down one of my monitors, cracking the screen. He stuck crackers into the PC tower's ventilation slots. I'm not kidding. Yanked out my keyboard's keycaps and had coloured on my chair with permanent marker. The cherry on top? He poured apple juice into the tower. Into it. Oh my goodness me, the damage. I mean, I'm sitting here on my setup and I'm thinking to myself, you know, if a kid did that here, I wouldn't be able to make videos for a while. That is the truth. That's awful. For those of you out there that, you know, might be gamers or have PC setups yourself, you know how bad this is. Ugh. When I tell you I went silent, I mean dead silent. My sister comes in, sees the damage, and just says, "Oh no," in this incredibly flat tone, like someone knocked over a cup of coffee. I start freaking out, and she has the audacity to say, "You should have baby-proofed the room if it was that important to you." I lost it. I told her that 1, she knew he wasn't supposed to be in there. 2, this is my space, not a dang daycare. And 3, baby-proofing a $2,000 gaming setup is not a standard requirement for adults living alone. She told me to calm down and said that he's just a kid and stuff is replaceable. I told her, well, she could replace it then. She said she didn't have the money right now, but maybe in a few months she could give me a few hundred. I told her that was not acceptable and that she needed to take full responsibility. She left in a huff, and now my whole family is blowing up my phone. My mum says that I'm being materialistic and should understand that my nephew didn't mean it. My dad said I should have locked the door if it was that important. My brother actually said, "Well, why do you even need 3 monitors anyway? That's kind of overkill." Wait, so none of your immediate family understand this at all? This is the most obvious not your fault, you're not overreacting ever. Like, how is she not taking responsibility for what her kid's done? And yeah, maybe not everyone wants to have 3 monitors. Maybe you could have closed the door. I don't know, lock the door. Maybe you don't have a lock on the door, right? Maybe you like gaming. Maybe you've put loads of money into stuff that you like that you didn't think was going to be trashed because your sister didn't look after her kid properly. That's unbelievable. Anyway, OP continues. I filed a claim with my insurance, but there's no guarantee it'll be covered since it was technically guest damage. I also told her that if she doesn't pay up, I'll take her to court for what happened. Now, I'm getting texts from my sister demanding an apology for, quote, blaming her kid for being curious. I told her I'd drop it if she covered the cost of repairs and replacements, or at least met me halfway, and she blocked me. So, am I overreacting if I take my sister to court over this? Goodness me, you're even offering her the chance to only pay for half of the damage. That is, honestly, too kind. But I suppose in that way, you're saying, look, I get it. He's a 3-year-old. He didn't mean it. I don't think that's important at all, though. She has let her kid do that. That's on her. Are you overreacting? As I said, absolutely not. However, there's an update to come on this one. Wow, just wow. 4 hours later, I wake up from my nap to this. Thank you guys. It'll take a bit for me to read all of this. My sister still has not unblocked me, but her husband reached out to find out what happened. I'm sorry I don't have more to tell yet, but I'll update again when I do. Seriously, thank you for the insights, everyone. My head is a lot clearer now. There were thousands of comments left on this post. Update 2. Hey guys, my sister's husband reached out as mentioned earlier, and we're working out a solution if possible. He's been really understanding, as have all of you. Also, to clarify the office situation, my 1-bedroom apartment is on the smaller side, so the landlord converted an old ex-clothes cabinet into a makeshift office. It's weird, but the building is from the 40s, and I guess they had to get creative with the space with an old tenant or something. So it's the living room, my sister and her kid slept there, and the kitchen, I slept there, and the office. Thank you for all the support and the award. I really don't have the words for how nice people have been in both DMs and the comments. Now, from my point of view here, you are well within your rights to sue because you need this money, right? Like, it's not on you. It's not your fault that this damage has happened, and it is actually someone else's fault. You know, it's a shame that it's your sister, but if she's not going to even meet you halfway, and as I said, that's a really kind thing of you to offer, then yeah, sue her. The rest of your family, ridiculous. Like, just because they're not interested in the things that you're interested in doesn't take away from the fact that you are owed that money. Say your dad, OP, had a really nice classic car and your brother trashed it. Maybe you don't care about classic cars, so you could just say to him, well, why do you need a classic car? Just get a little, like, rubbish second-hand car. It does the same job. You can drive around. It's not about that. It's about the fact that something was damaged, which is your property, and you are owed the money. So sue, I say. Am I overreacting, or is this insane 3 days in? I, a 24-year-old woman, blocked a guy who was 32 I went on 3 dates with after he kept showing signs of concerning behavior. I got emails from him after I blocked him through text. The screenshots are from his latest email. Things that he did that were a bit concerning to me. 1. Suggesting I move closer to him, which costs $700 more per month. 2, suggesting that I quit my job when I just started my career because I work 60 plus hours a week and can only go on dates once a week. 3, wanting to tag along my family vacation to China. He brought this up multiple times despite me refusing. 4, arriving more than an hour early on our dates and being upset that I am not reciprocating by also arriving early. I always arrive on time, sometimes 5 to 10 minutes early. 5, upset over my hanging out with my friends one time on a Friday night. And 6, blowing up at me for not responding for 1.5 days after my purse was stolen and typing paragraphs about how I ghosted him, how he never liked our dates, and how he felt relieved. Okay, before I even get into the emails, I think we know the answer, but nonetheless, this is probably going to make me laugh, so that's why I'm definitely reading them. Re my side of the story. Here we go. You're making arguments for me that I didn't make. I mentioned these suggestions to prove to you that I want to spend time with you. I did not say that I expect you to carry out these suggestions because some of them you will probably need a lot of time in order to make a decision. But since you mentioned them, I will clarify my position on them. In rough order of expectations, most reasonable to least reasonable. Number 1, make an effort to spend more time together on a short date. This is reasonable. Probably don't have to say this because this should come naturally if you like someone. Remember, they've been on 3 dates. Number 2, I push for you to spend more time with me outside of Saturday. I think this is fair for both sides. 1 day is really not quite enough, so I'm going to push for more. You're busy, so you push back. This is harder to resolve because I think both of us have a point here. As for friends, I think your argument is fair if you have ample time for your relationship. But if you only have 1 day a week for your partner, then maybe it's better to spend 2 days with the partner than splitting 1 to 1 days between partner and friends. The difference between 1 versus 2 days can be huge. And you're basically saying that you prefer a low quality relationship so that you can have friends over a relationship that might actually work. You can't have it both ways. You can't fault me for advocating for myself here. That is a great point, guys. You can't be in a relationship and still maintain friendships outside of that relationship. It's just never going to work. How is that ever going to work? It makes me upset. People don't understand that. 3, trip to China. I'm not demanding much of your time. Only any free time as needed. You can be with your family most of the time. You can be with your family. That's nice, isn't it? That he's letting you be with your family. I'd hide in a hotel nearby if you'd like, if you don't want them to see me. I'm okay if you don't cater to me. I will cater to you on your China trip. You'll be having your family trip with me on summon. I'm not kidnapping you from your family. What are you saying? Most of the time, you'll be with your family. I'll just be hiding away in the background, waiting for you to message me, then I'll be there in 2 seconds. Pretty normal. You can spend all sleeping hours and probably most waking hours with your family / relative as well. Or weird thing to say. Married couples don't always stay together on trips. Yeah, that's because the other person has something to do or doesn't want to go. When the husband is insistent that the wife cannot go with him on a long trip, won't you say that it might be a bit of a red flag? There has to be a very legitimate reason. Okay, how about it's a family trip and I've been on 3 dates with you? Seems pretty legitimate. How am I trying to be manipulative when I'm okay with being a low maintenance traveling partner here? I don't understand it. I don't want to fight you on this. If you still don't want me to go, then I won't go. See, look, he's a nice guy. Actually, he's probably an r/nice guy, being completely realistic. Sorry, how long is this? There are still like, oh my God, how many points are there? 4, suggest you to move close in or closer to me. I already said I'm happy even if you move to the BCG apartment. I wasn't pushy at all on this. Secretly, I really want to push for you to move in with me though. I thought it's a win-win. Yeah, after 3 dates, bro. 5, suggest you quit your job. I ask only after you said you're really stressed out from it. I felt that it was one of the better conversations we had, and I respect your decision on this. 6, come super early to date. I never actually suggested this to you, but this is evidence that I want to see you. The fact that you're there isn't enough evidence that you want to see them. You have to be there ridiculously, almost pathetically early. Makes sense. This is something small but very unreasonable. Look, I always tell you that you can come whenever. Take your time. I'm early. I just want to check the nearby place out. I don't think I've ever rushed you in text. Even the time when you're late to Galleria, I said it was no issue. I never suggested this to you. Regarding you not responding because you lost your wallet, I'm okay with your explanation. But is it also reasonable for me to assume that something went wrong since something did in fact go wrong? I went with the wrong conclusion due to feeling overwhelmed. Are you okay, right? Regarding snacks and gifts, am I supposed to be impressed by your snacks when we've sampled some of the finest dining that Houston has to offer? I really appreciated the little ghost though. I really like the little ghost. Regarding asking you to be my girlfriend, I want to do it before the moment is ruined by something else. I want to wait till a special moment to ask you out, but without props, I don't think I can pull it off. I am not a smooth operator. Sorry, this guy needs props to ask you out. What do you mean by props? Like spinning plates or something? Respect. I want to see that. I'll just ask you out next time bluntly if you ever give me a chance. I can ask you now on email if you don't mind. Yeah, that'd be good. Holding hands. My hands are a bit shaky and I'm embarrassed to hold your hands because I think you would notice. This guy's 32, by the way. Hug? Yeah, I really like it. I don't want to give up. Will you unblock me? How about no, you weird cat. And now for our final post of this episode. Am I overreacting? I am a 34-year-old man, and my girlfriend, who is 36, left me over the chicken jockey scene in Minecraft. Hey everyone. So I'm laying here heartbroken, all because of the movie last night. I really wanted to surprise my girlfriend, so I took us out to the Minecraft movie. I bought 3 large popcorns for myself, and I got her one. She was confused why we needed so much popcorn, and I told her it was a surprise. Then, when Jack Black said the words chicken jockey, I did throw all the bags everywhere, but not out of hatred, just to be a part of the Minecraft fandom. My girlfriend completely freaked out on me, even though others also celebrated the chicken jockey scene, and I thought we were just having fun. I've tried saying sorry, but now our 5-year relationship seems to have ended all because of one bad move. Why would she do this to me? Obviously, it was a small prank and they have lots of staff who can clean up popcorn. I was having an absolute blast, waiting in anticipation with all my popcorn until the scene showed up. I thought she was going to think it was so funny too. Sigh. So like, what do I do? Now guys, I'm going to be honest, I don't actually know about this trend. I don't know how I've missed this, but somebody is saying in the comments down below, this is the dumbest new trend yet. Wasting good food and making cinema employees have to clean up your mess for no reason. I mean, yeah, without really knowing what the trend is, I would say that chucking popcorn everywhere and then saying, oh, it's all right, there are lots of people employed to clean it up, that's their job, is pretty disgusting. So yeah, I would probably leave someone if they did something like that and were like, well, someone else can clean it up. That's a terrible attitude. Now, you have been with her for 5 years, which is a long time, and I'd probably say that after 5 years, is this enough to dump somebody? Probably not. But then again, like, it shows such a poor attitude to life and other people in general. And it's also just not that funny. I mean, let me look up what this is. Okay, so it's just people, from what I can see, sort of just like having a bit of fun with it, shouting along with the movie, you know, iconic moments. Obviously, everyone that's played Minecraft knows about a chicken jockey being an extremely rare mob spawn. But can you not just shout it and not chuck popcorn everywhere? That seems dumb, because when you're affecting other people, then that's not worth it. So to be honest, this actually might be the first post I've ever seen where someone actually may be overreacting because your girlfriend was well within her rights to leave you for being an obtuse clown. So there we go. Someone that actually was overreacting. Unbelievable. Am I overreacting for demanding to be paid after wearing something inappropriate to babysit? Hi, I am 15 and I've been babysitting this family for over a year. They are more on the conservative side and a lot more religious than my family, but they're generally nice and I love their kids. I didn't receive payment from them the last time I babysat, so I reached out, and they're now saying they will not pay me the full price because I was wearing something inappropriate. Just wondering if I'm overreacting. For context, I was wearing a sweatshirt over my tank top, third picture here, and only took it off after the kids asked me to run around with them. I babysat from 4 to 10:30, and I normally charge $15 with a $5 increase per kid, so $20 for 2 kids. Okay, so first of all, here is the image, and no, I don't think that's inappropriate at all to be wearing, even if it wasn't under a jumper. I mean, it's fine, it's just a normal top. Now let's have a look back at the text messages. Hi, hope you had a great weekend. I just wanted to reach out because I haven't gotten my payment from Wednesday yet. I know you guys celebrate Good Friday and Easter, so I totally get that it probably slipped your radar, but if you could Venmo me when you have the chance, that would be fantastic. Hello, May. Dan and I have been talking about it, and quite frankly, we do not feel comfortable paying you the full amount after you wore such inappropriate clothing to our house. The kids love you, and we're more than happy to give you a second chance, but we cannot pay you more than $50 after you wore that outfit. Wow, I had no idea you guys felt that way. I'm so sorry I made you uncomfortable. I just wanted to be in something flexible to run around in with Sarah and Eliza. That being said, 50 honestly does not feel like enough money for 2 kids and 7 hours. I understand you do not feel okay paying me full price, and I'd be willing to do half of what I normally charge. Wow, that's exceptionally nice of OP. Let me just do the maths here really quickly. You normally do $20 per hour, so what's that? $140 roughly? $130? Yeah, 50 is... it's not enough. That's under half. And the fact that you've even said like you're willing to do this in the first place, go to $70, $65 is wrong in my opinion, but it shows you're a very nice person. Now, just a few hours ago at the time of recording, we actually got an update to this post. So this is an update to the post I made last night about a babysitting fiasco. First of all, I had no idea it would blow up like that. From the bottom of my heart, I'm so grateful for every single person who took time out of their day to write out a reply. It truly was so helpful. There were over 30,000 upvotes on that post and thousands of comments, as you can imagine. If you didn't see the post, I'm May, I'm 15, and the parents I was babysitting for refused to pay me because they found my outfit inappropriate. So around the same time the post started to blow up, my mum sent out an email to my neighbor / the mother. She never got a response, which wasn't very surprising, as they don't get along very well due to opposing political beliefs and religions. My mum is Jewish, she's very Catholic. A lot of people suggested taking my neighbor to small claims court, but where I'm at, the price of even filing a claim is half the money I would have made, as well as the fact that we live in a small town and my neighbor is a huge member of her church and very popular. I'm not quite sure how to phrase it in a non-high schooler way, so it just wouldn't have been worth it. Anyways, I sent another text, got a response, etc., and the rest of the story is included over the text. Again, thank you so much for all the kind words. And also, a lot of people have asked where I got my tank top. It's from Brandy Melville, the Skylar Stripe Lace tank. Now, this isn't relevant at all, but I have no idea what Brandy Melville is. Well, I didn't until I went to America over Christmas and I saw an unbelievably long line outside of a store. I couldn't believe it was so long, and the store was Brandy Melville, so clearly it's very popular. I'm none the wiser, but the tank top was nice. Okay, so here are the texts. Hi Marion, I apologize for the double texting. I know your kids are on break this week, but you haven't responded to my text or my mum's email. I've been thinking about the last couple of texts, and while I feel awful that I offended you and Dan, we'd never gone over ground rules about clothing. I don't think it's fair for you to go back on your word. I think that it's the best decision for both of us if you pay me in total and we can put this behind us. Great message. Bear in mind as well, this girl is 15. Like that's a proper message, so fair play to you. May, I've known you since you were a little girl, and it's quite disheartening to see that you've grown up into another version of your mother. Nevertheless, well, they've said neithertheless, which doesn't make any sense, but nevertheless, Dan has Venmo'd you $150. I may reply to this saying, I will take that as a compliment. I think my mother is an awesome person. I received the money. Thank you. Wow, Marion said, you were so lovely growing up, and we always prayed you'd find a sliver of normality among your parents. I do not think we'll be using you as a sitter anymore. Why? Because you complained that you weren't paid in full. Great. Honestly, I don't feel comfortable coming back in your house anymore, considering the way you've treated me, talked about my parents, and attempted to use me and go back on your words. I highly doubt I'll be recommending you to any of my friends who want to get into babysitting. Have a good week. Boom. Roasted. My wife went out to lunch with a guy she met at the gym. I think this is a huge no-no. Am I overreacting? Oh, interesting one. Relationship drama. We love it. I am a 39-year-old man. My wife, who is also 39, and I have been together for 14 years, married for 11. I've been cheated on in the past several times, so I'm very sensitive to any behavior that could be construed that way. That is important context, and obviously your wife knows this. My wife goes to the gym 5 days a week, and is always there when they open at 5 a.m. It's a serious thing for her. I personally go 3 days a week, but to a different gym. Needless to say, conversations have been struck up with her by various people for the last 5 years or so. One guy in particular, who is divorced and 15 years older, started being friendly to her a while back. Not sure how long exactly. A conversation arose about a good lunch special at a steakhouse in town, and it became an ongoing thing. You gotta try this pork chop, etc. Well, on Friday afternoon, she went to lunch with this gentleman, and then when she came home, she mentioned that her leftovers were from this place and that she went with a friend. Never said anything about a work friend, so I pressed a bit more for curiosity's sake. She told me what happened and swore up and down nothing happened and that she's not interested in that way. I will say, our marriage has had its ups and downs, but the ups were way higher than the downs. My wife has given me zero reason in 14 years not to trust her. However, the circumstances are quite suspect. What does everyone think? Very, very, very interesting. I think that if she hadn't have acted a little bit weirdly about this, it would have been completely fine. And I don't want to say that you're overreacting because obviously you have your past trauma, but I think, you know, without that context, I would have been like, okay, just settle down. She's just gone to lunch with someone from her gym, which is fine. Like, you know, just because it's a guy who is older than her doesn't really matter. Like, you can be friends with people of the opposite sex, of course. However, when she's swearing up and down that nothing happened and she's not interested in that way, and she didn't disclose who the friend was at the beginning, that's a little bit weird. Now, Opie continued saying, so many comments, I'm trying to catch up, but I have very little time. And this is the important point here. We've had a lengthy discussion about all of this. She didn't necessarily hide it from me, and I didn't have to prod her much at all for her to tell me it was a man from the gym. She's known him for 2 years in passing, and they talk occasionally. She also knows she's never given me a reason to think she's cheated. This time, though, just seemed very sus, and she apologized a lot for forgetting to tell me she was going to do this. She is very scatterbrained and forgetful, so it's not out of the ordinary. Anyways, thank you everyone for the rational, sane, helpful advice. Luckily, I did most of that before I saw all of your replies, so I think we're okay now. Thank you again. Okay, interesting comment here. Unlike others who have replied here, I'm going to go another way and say the boring. You need to have a conversation with her. Because, firstly, she didn't hide this. She didn't lie. She wouldn't have brought home leftovers to put in your fridge to find if she were hiding it from you. Yeah, I agree with that. Secondly, could it lead to something else? Maybe. But then so can work relationships, neighbors, etc. Is she open to having you all meet up for lunch? Not to take over the friendship, but I think both she and he, if he's not being terrible, would not have an issue with you two meeting each other. You didn't say it was your current wife who had cheated, so I'm going to hope it wasn't her. That's a good point as well. I thought that as well. If it's your current wife, things are different, but you've said the whole time she's given you zero reason to believe she's ever cheated, so it must be previous relationships. If after 14 years of her being a faithful partner, one lunch brings up accusations, I can see where she would be mad and frustrated. You are holding her to account for others' behavior. Great point. Thirdly, ultimately, you have been cheated on before, so this is triggering. It should be okay for you to admit that and her to understand that's how you feel, which warrants a conversation about why and what it would take to be comfortable. There's so much here that is context that none of us here can see, so while I get why you're concerned, freaking out about it would be a serious overreaction, in my opinion. Wow. I could not agree more with that comment. And I think, given everything, I would say that you are bordering on overreacting. I don't like saying that because of the trauma of being cheated on, and clearly that's affected you a lot. However, you know, cheating is not that uncommon. And it happened 14 years ago, and it seems to me as if your partner has been faithful to you for 14 years. So maybe you've got to have a look at yourself at this moment and think, you know, should I still be reacting like this? And you can't blame how you're reacting, but I think potentially you could work on it by seeing somebody, chatting about it more, etc., getting over that trauma, because 14 years on to still be this sort of on eggshells when something potentially bad happens, but actually it's just your partner going for lunch with a friend that you don't know about. Like, that's fine. It's completely fine. I don't know. Obviously, have the conversation with her, but I actually do think you are genuinely bordering on overreacting here. despite the fact that I don't want to say it. My son just told me he is gay. Am I overreacting? Well, it's an interesting title. Really depends on what your reaction is. Oh no, are you kidding me? You're gay? Probably a bit of an overreaction. Let's hope it's not that. That was just a joke. I, a 52-year-old man, am the father of a 17-year-old son. We're really close. He's my whole world. We've always had a great relationship. He's a typical guy for his age. He plays football, has a good group of friends, and we talk about everything. Or at least, I thought we did. Last night, he came into my room and told me he was gay. He looked like he was going to throw up. He said, "Please don't hate me for what I'm about to say," and then told me. I just froze. I was just so shocked that I went totally silent for a few seconds. When he saw my reaction, he started crying. That snapped me out of it, and I immediately hugged him and told him I loved him over and over again as he sobbed. He kept apologizing, and I kept shushing him and telling him he didn't need to be sorry. We both cried. Now, since last night, I can't stop spiraling. I love my son with everything I have. That hasn't changed and never will. But I'm scared. In our country, these things are complicated. People in the city are starting to accept it more, but we live in a small town in which these things are still very controversial. When I was in high school, there was a kid who was rumored to be gay, and he ended up getting beaten so badly he had to move away. That's all I can see when I think of my son now, and it's destroying me. I don't know how to protect him. I feel helpless. He told me he's not going to act different or wear makeup or anything like that, but honestly, that just made me feel worse. I don't want him to think that he has to say that to make me feel more comfortable. I keep thinking about stupid jokes I've made in the past, stuff I thought was harmless, and now I hate myself. I think I might have hurt him without knowing it. I don't know anything about gay people. I've never had anyone close to me come out before. I don't know what I'm supposed to say or do. Should I talk to him about boys like I would have talked about girls? Should I ask about crushes, or would that make it weird? What happens when he starts dating? Do I treat it like I would if he brought home a girlfriend? Yes, by the way, obviously. I'm terrified I'll say or do the wrong thing and push him away. I want to be a good dad. I want him to feel safe with me, but I'm overwhelmed and I can't stop thinking about all the things that could go wrong. I keep picturing people being cruel to him. I can't sleep. I feel like I'm failing him already by not knowing what to do to keep him safe. Am I overreacting? I don't have anyone in my life I can talk to about this. I just want to do right by my son. Okay, I can breathe a sigh of relief there. I thought potentially this might be a lot worse and we might have a homophobic father here. But thankfully we don't. We just have someone who is worried about their son because they've seen horrible things done to gay people before. Is that an overreaction? Because you care? Absolutely not. I would say there are a few things in here, a few sentences that I picked up on which are a little bit strange. For example, you know, do I still have the same conversations? I don't know anything about gay people. They're not like a different species. I think it's important to say that. But yeah, this is like your typical sort of 50-plus-year-old man who hasn't really had to deal with these sort of things in his life, but now is like, oh, we're in a different time here, I think. And I'm sure that you'll be fine, OP. You'll come around. You'll sort of like get to grips with the whole situation in time. Just be there for your son. Now, in terms of the jokes, back in the day, let's be honest, you'd be lying to yourself, I think, if you said you'd never made jokes, which I can imagine he said, like, about gay people or using the word gay. I'm happy to say, well, not happy to say, but I'm not going to lie and say that I never have used the word gay as a joke. I have. And I will continue to do it because it's really funny. Okay, that in and of itself was a joke. Sorry about that. But what I will say is this. You should have a conversation with him about that and kind of get an understanding with him, I think. Yeah, just chat to him. I think that's the thing to do. Keep your relationship as open as it has been. Clearly, he was very worried and concerned and anxious about telling you this, but just be your same self, be supportive, and I think you and him will be just fine.